I didn't know what to say when you came into the room, so I said, I love you. Can't help saying what I think you want to hear. It's fear, I guess I'm insecure. Hey, I'm dangerous. Hey, you know it. No, don't try to fix me. I'll blow it. I don't love you, but I want you to think that
We're here with Abi Hercules in her house in Stoke Newington. And Abi is a client of Design Dynamo since last May. You've been a client of ours since last May. We came into the picture because Abi's been working on putting together a one-woman show. So she's been frantically writing songs and an entire album.
Yeah.
As well as part of her master's degree in
Commercial songwriting and production.
Thank you. Oh,
There we are.
No, yeah, you've rehearsed that really well. Which has been an amazing journey for you anyways, I think in terms of the songwriting part.
Yeah, definitely. And I just decided that I wanted to use the opportunity of doing a master's to really focus on one project that would be the culmination of all my work, which is how a master's is structured. But I knew that I'd always wanted, for a long time, I've been thinking about doing a one-woman show. So I thought, I'll make it my one-woman show, and I'll kind of design my master's around my goal, which is to do this show. So the Wardrobe of Love, the concept is songs about relationships. Each relationship has a song which tells that story, and it also has a costume that tells the story of that relationship in design. And the protagonist, who at the start I wasn't sure if the protagonist was going to be me, Abi, or was going to be a character. In the end, it was a character who is going through the journey of her relationship history. And as she is presented with images from that relationship, so the person who was in that relationship, or it may be friends actually, it may be a platonic relationship, so it may be friends in that relationship and the protagonist. So she sees those images, and as she's looking at those images and is having kind of flashbacks of that relationship, a costume arrives, and that costume is the first time she's seen that costume, and it evokes all the memories of that experience. And then she engages with the costume, and she puts on the outfit, and she performs the song. And that happens 11 times. There's 11 songs, there are 11 relationships, and then there's one final number, which is a remix. But fundamentally, it's one person's journey through her relationship history.
Sort of her wardrobe.
Yeah, her wardrobe of love.
Her wardrobe
exactly
of love.
that.
So when we first met, and you told me about the concept, and I think you had more than 11 songs at that point. You had like 12,
I had more.
And I think you were like, maybe I'm going to write just another one. And I said, okay, you're insane. Like, how many changes are you going to do? Like, it's going to be impossible, because you had like a time frame within which the show had to happen, which was about an hour. Yeah. And so with all of, I think because we started out thinking about, like, brainstorming about the costumes, and I came here, in fact.
Yeah, finally, when we decided to work together, we did actually work in this room, and we just laid out a massive roll of paper. In fact, I had a
A tablecloth, like
paper
a
tablecloth. Yeah, so we rolled
yeah.
out this tablecloth on this big table over here that you can't see. And and we just brainstormed. Basically, we played each song and I gave clues as to a little bit more of the backstory of this relationship that's in the song. And then we just brainstormed ideas, and it might be wings or it might be chains or whatever it is that feels like it would enhance the storytelling of that song. We threw it all down on the paper, didn't we?
Yes.
And then you were sketching, then you started actually sketching designs and we're sticking them up on the cupboards. And
yeah. And we were like, oh yeah, so this needs to be like a torn dress and it needs to be ripped up and it needs to have a big heart on it and that sort of thing. And I think we started like on a really, really big scale and on a massive, well, on a blank canvas. But that blank canvas was really, really big for both of us. And I think that was really interesting to see that I generally operate like that anyways. So I start from like, somebody says something to me, I see it on a really large scale already. Not just on a large scale, but like also in the most intricate version. And then when I kind of work my way through the project, I know what to take away or what to replace.
Exactly.
To make
and it's really important not to censor yourself in that moment at the beginning of a project. It's so important because like the best idea, which is the making, it might even be the making of a show, might be just some completely wacky idea that comes from just going wild and thinking about everything. So we were firing off each other, weren't we? And it was really easy. 100%. It was really easy because we were just like, oh my God, let's have wings.
Why don't we? No, but they need to be like glittery wings and they need to be iridescent. And like, they're going to have two sides. They're going to have two sides. You can turn them inside out and whatever. And we were kind of like reaching sort of like heights of like the Cruella movie sort of fashion design where literally like your costume, is on fire and then it turns into something else. And so I think we kind of, which is really great. So the first few sessions we didn't really hold back and we didn't rein ourselves in. But then we kind of also had to sit down and say, okay, what are the limitations? And so the limitations were obviously the time for the performance, the time within which we had to make all of these things happen. So like 11 concepts for the outfits. And then also from a budget point of view.
Budget.
Because you already were at that point, at that stage where you invested your money into your course, into recording sessions. Even though you've got a recording studio, luckily here in the garden.
But to work with producers, obviously they need to be paid, and obviously to get songs mixed and mastered, produced, mixed, mastered, it all comes at a price. I've got a studio at the end of the garden and I can take things to a certain level, but then I need to collaborate with somebody. So I'd already spent an awful lot of money doing that. So I had a relatively limited budget and so had to approach it with that in mind, knowing that if I could get some people on the team who wanted to get involved with their portfolio, which I did in the end. There were some people involved who were doing it because in fact, I have to say, there was something about the concept of the wardrobe of love, which drew in a lot of attention. People were just like really interested. And like really wanted to be a part of it, which was lovely, which said a lot about, it was a positive sign for the concept as a whole, and the show going forwards, I think. But it would be lovely, in my wildest dreams, I've got like the Lady Gaga budget, that
yes,
would be like,
we all do.
That would be so nice. And then obviously the costumes could be like really high end, and that would be wonderful. But I don't discount the fact that there will be an iteration of the show down the line which would
Where
have
that
more
is going to be
budget.
possible.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
And I think, yeah, like eventually we also got to that, we got to talk about like, what is the purpose of this show? Because, yeah, we kind of like identified, okay, so these are going to be like the directions that we're going to take in terms of costumes. This is the budget that we've got available. This is how we're going to manage the workload as well, because obviously, so we wanted to do a lot of things and like do videography and photography and the costumes, but we also had to be realistic with like the amount of time that was available to us,
yeah,
that we needed to narrow down our involvement, unfortunately, because of time constraints and also budget constraints
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think we just had to sort of like get to that point. It took us about like a couple of months and like lots and lots of conversations where we were like,
yeah.
okay, so this is what we can do.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you were able
I'd
to
already
then-
had some people on board anyway.
Yeah,
So it was about kind of filling those gaps,
yeah,
really. And for instance, like I know that there was an iteration of your proposal where you were going to project manage the whole thing.
yeah,
And I was just unable to afford that
Yeah.
because I just had already spent some of my money. And yeah, it was just
Yeah.
the way it was. So I had to project manage it, which is, that's the life of being an independent artist anyway, to be honest. You're kind of
Exactly.
used to it. So yeah,
Yeah.
so you were involved in, actually it was great because one thing that is interesting to note, I think, is that the thing that the thing that I found very challenging was, and I was surprised by this, was to find a lot of designers who wanted to be involved. And I had envisaged that I would be able to engage with the fashion colleges or the art colleges who do a fashion or textiles module or whatever, or course, and get on board people who were maybe in their second year. So either maybe in their second year and they were still at that kind of exploring their own voice stage, and maybe they'd make a piece. Or maybe people who had graduated and they were in their first year out and they had pieces which might fit a song which they could showcase. I thought those would be my people. And in reality, I found the fashion colleges completely impenetrable.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, it's not surprising.
It was extraordinary.
Yeah.
I thought it was extraordinary. I thought this is a great opportunity for people to showcase their work.
Yeah.
And it could have been an opportunity for people who, as I say, already had work, so there wouldn't be a great deal of time. It would just be kind of loaning your piece, and and getting the having a spotlight on your piece.
Yeah. I think there are. Yeah. So it's interestingly, when we started, brainstorming about the costumes as well, that's kind of like, I said, actually, I already have something that I think we can develop further.
Yeah.
And there was something that I did as an experimental piece for, like, when I was experimenting with like making patterns and like creating patterns and then that sort of thing. And coincidentally, I turned that pattern into this coat with my friend Fanny, who has her own women's luxury label. And so we kind of like had the basis for that.
Yeah, that was great, and that was perfect for Deception.
For Deception,
Yeah.
exactly. But what we do as Design Dynamo, i.e. putting projects together, finding people like you who need help, who don't necessarily have like a massive budget of like £10,000 or whatever, but you've got some budget. But then making the project happen is all about resourcefulness. And so the resourcefulness came in the form of also like sustainability, really, because we then said, okay, so let's raid your wardrobe.
Yeah.
What you already have, like some vintage pieces of this, that, whatever. What can we use? Can we just transform them?
Yeah.
Because also time-wise, it made more sense for us to just take something and alter it,
Yeah.
or add to it, or take away from it, then start everything from scratch, because that would have been like a super intense and expensive job for anyone.
Which we did with one piece, didn't we? We did so. Yeah. So for Love Hangover, we used a shot silk 1950s ball gown. Yeah. Which I had in my wardrobe because I've just got that kind of wardrobe.
Just knocking around.
But it was like. I just had it. It was gifted to me actually, but it was far too big for me, so it worked perfectly. We just took it in and we just did what we wanted to do with it. And
yes, lot of veils and silver and satin and that sort of thing, and then also like some of the items that we sourced. So like we got from charity shops. Like we got the base for Break Me, the jacket. Yeah. It was sourced from a charity shop for about £5, but then we added all these iridescent stars, which is we call it now the Starlight jacket.
Oh right, yeah.
It turned into something like really, really striking, and then we just added sort of like the piece of leather that we cut out with the Break Me words and stuff like that. So I think we managed to be like really sustainable on this project on so many fronts. And stay on budget as well. And then we had the photo shoot. So once all the costumes were done, we had the big photo shoot, which lasted 2 days. So 11. That was 11.
That was 11 outfits, 11 songs, 11 makeup looks, and it was full on. But we got it done, and that was the content for not only the videos in the show, the music videos in the show, but also all the socials, all the content, all the stills, all the everything.
All the everything.
Yeah.
And you needed, so the reason why we had to have the photo shoot is also because you needed material for your album. The
singles,
So Abby was releasing each song off the album as part of your degree commitment.
Just as part of my just being an artist, actually, just regularly releasing the songs. So using the artwork for the cover art, so a still for the cover art. And then obviously other stills, different poses that could just be used for socials. And then wonderfully, the music videos, of course, were already. So this was all part of my concept, which was just to get everything done. Basically, get everything done so you've got all your content enrolled. That's for like 11 months worth of releases. So...
Incredible. It was incredible just to see like everything coming to life as well. So I think like that's when we got to the photo shoot. I think that's when we kind of like felt a little bit sort of more at ease, because we saw what was working as well, like what costumes were working, what weren't, and what adjustments had to be made as well. And I think then it really became clear that whatever the final so this was, the photo shoot was really like a rehearsal, like almost like a dress rehearsal kind of thing. And then we were able to filter out things that weren't going to make it into the show. In terms of costumes as well, and like also it was good to see like the makeup, like what works with what sort of thing. And also because some of the costumes, so for instance the wings that Amandine is a costume designer who also joined the team, found you through the adverts.
Yes,
right?
she found me through the advert and got in touch.
So that was one enthusiastic member of society
absolutely.
who was a designer as well, who found you. And so the wings had to be sort of used put on in a particular way so that it don't strangle you. At the same time, you had to sort of like practice the motion, with it, how you're going to coexist with those wings on stage in general, really. And so we got through the photo shoot, 2 days of non-stop. We had so much involvement from our end as well. So like Design Dynamo works with like a lot of students, former students as well from the School of Design at Greenwich. And so we had a number of former students just popping in for the photo shoot, and then they helped to sort of altering some of the costumes and like fixing costumes, or like so quickly creating something new for Parachute, for instance, when we just got some fabric and then kind of wrapped it around you, and that sort of.
I was proud of that, actually. I have to say, the one costume that I came up with the idea for and kind of cobbled together due to budgetary constraints was like really popular with the audience.
Yes,
so I was really chuffed with that, actually.
Because it's such a light-hearted sort of like, also like really cheeky. So like when we talked about like the costumes, and so one or two times the word sort of cheeky came up as well. But I think that one was like that really kind of like hit that note. Because it's a short skirt, and then you've got like this brassiere. Is that what it's called? Sorry,
no, it's a crinoline.
Crinoline.
A crinoline, yeah. So it's basically a crinoline, and then with a piece of silk satin, to create a short skirt over the crinoline, but the rest of the crinoline is still revealed, exposed underneath. And then that was like, that piece of silk satin was like a strapless top. And then it got belted with a harness, like a white leather harness. So it was all white, which would suggest Parachute. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, I think that was spot on, actually. That was a really good idea. Yeah. And so you sourced the.
I just sourced
crinoline.
the stuff online.
We kind of like tested things out again, just to see what was around, what was available, what could be used.
Yeah, that was a successful one.
Hundreds of pounds. Yeah. And so the photo shoot happened, and then we walked away knowing what needs to be done. We walked away with like a lot of photos, and everything was filmed as well. So the photo shoot was being filmed.
Oh yeah,
as well. So we had so much material, and so I think one thing to point out is that for us, as this design collective, working with the students, is that for us it's really, really important to have like these digital assets. So like documenting what we took part in and the entire process, because this is where the former students can use that for their portfolios. They can put it on their website and so on and so forth. Yeah. But also, one really, really valuable asset for us is the social media campaigns that an artist such as yourself runs, and also the designers then individually start sort of running and promoting the materials that they do, which basically sort of you end up with this cross promotion where everybody's sharing everybody's content, and it becomes a very much like a joint project to drive and raise awareness and drive exposure. So which is good for everyone. And so at the moment, this is kind of like where we are at this phase where the project completed, sort of like phase one of the project completed. So you had the show.
Yes.
And the show was a resounding success. Like we held the show at the Metronome, which is a venue that your school owns. right?
Yeah, so
Confetti.
is one of the new campuses of Nottingham Trent University, who are working in conjunction with Tile Yard, where I did my MA, and they've had a brand new venue which opened in the last summer, at the end of the summer, and the premiere of The Wardrobe of Love was on the 15th of November. So The Wardrobe of Love was the first proper show in the venue. So that was a really nice opportunity for me to also work with the second year students at Confetti. So they ran the show along with one of the tutors. So the show was run by the staff, the students and staff at Confetti. And yeah, it was like a packed house, and incredibly successful.
200 people, right?
Yeah, it was like an incredibly
When we say a packed
successful.
house,
Yeah,
it wasn't like 25 people, you know.
yeah.
It was 200.
No, it was really, it was a real success, and it was also an opportunity for me to get feedback to help me promote the show so that I could take the show on and tour it. But it also feedback for me to develop the show and hear what people felt the show could benefit from, or the things that they loved and would like more of. So yeah, that was great. And I did collect lots of testimonials from that. So that was really good.